Bedford, or mentioned Bedford.
Okay.
Yeah. That was good though. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely is.
So this is the first time that I've been involved with one of these joint capstone projects, and I guess it would be useful for me if you could tell me a little bit about your experiences working together as a team, and I'm personally interested to hear more about your experiences in Bedford.
Bedford is a small town on the fringe of Virginia's Roanoke Valley, between the cities of Lynchburg and Roanoke. Bedford is less than a 30-minute drive from the stunning peaks of water of the Blue Ridge Mountains. From Bedford, it is just a short drive to a number of important locations, such as Richmond, Virginia, Greensboro, North Carolina, and Washington, D.C.
The town's history began when Bedford County was split to make Campbell County. Due to the split, the village of Liberty, what is present-day Bedford, was founded to serve as Bedford County's new and more centrally located county seat. Liberty would transform several times over the next 2 centuries. First, it became a town in 1839, and then was renamed Bedford City as a part of a citizens' effort to revitalize their home after a devastating fire. Bedford would then revert back to a town in the wake of the 1900s, a prosperous era for Bedford.
Bedford developed with electrification, increased rail service, and lucrative industry. Bedford hosted a number of large manufacturers, including Kent Manufacturing Company, one of the country's oldest and largest makers of woolen goods. Kent made fabric for the U.S. Army and Navy for over a half of a century. During this period of economic prosperity, Bedford developed in other ways. It built subdivisions, competitive schools, and its downtown. Bedford continued to grow and in 1968 became an independent city. In the late 1900s, Bedford's growth nearly came to a screeching halt as it and the larger region lost a significant number of manufacturing jobs.
Today, Bedford is once more a town after its reversion in 2013. The town is nearly 6,000.
Hold on a minute. You still haven't told me why you're focusing on Bedford in the first place. So why Bedford? Why would you devote the last year to working in this place that very few people have heard of and that has a really small population?
I guess because it's home.
I grew up spending vacations, holidays, and summers at my grandma's house in town. My sister and I couldn't wait to hop in the car and drive to Bedford anytime my family got a chance. We knew we were finally there when we rounded the curve to our grandma's house and saw the cool blue peaks of Otter in plain view. In Bedford, everything was richer, cozier, and more connected than any place I spent time in growing up. For starters, everybody knew each other and the stories of each other's families in town. In Bedford, even if you don't know someone, you still wave. Growing up, I would walk down the street and somebody would stop me to tell me the basketball legends of my dad, invite me in for something to eat, or give me something to take to one of my family members. Since everybody knew each other and their stories were connected, everybody took care of one another and did what they could to meet each other's needs. As a small town, Bedford's true strength has been in its strong social networks and interpersonal relationships. Many of my family members who went away to college and moved elsewhere owe much of their success to the opportunities and support they received from the strong familial and friendly ties in the Bedford community. Bedford is full of rich history, and many of its residents can trace their families in Bedford back generations and generations. As a kid, it was a place of endless discovery. Everything in downtown had a story, and most people could tell you something special about Bedford. When I heard that Bedford was reverting from a city back to a town, I wanted to know what changes would follow. I began researching the reversion and found that there was not a lot of public involvement in the process. Although Bedford might not look drastically different after the reversion, I felt that the time of change would be a great opportunity for residents to envision the future they desired and come together to reinvigorate the relationships and community spirit that make the town special. I knew I wanted to help Bedford become even more connected. I wanted to draw on Bedford's strong social networks to build new connections and create new opportunities in town that could shed light on how Bedford could develop in the future. I imagine building some kind of space in downtown that could foster connections between residents and different institutions in Bedford. Space is the one thing that we all share. Before people in a town and city share interests, experiences, or dreams, they share public space. For this reason, public space is the fundamental platform for connecting people. I knew that my friend Zach had a strong background in design and was specifically interested in spaces that bring people together and create opportunities for positive change. So I met with him to see if he would be interested in working on a project in Bedford.
The thing that actually drew me into the project from the very beginning was actually Aaron's excitement about the project. We both had our own visions for what a capstone might be, and so we decided to get together over dinner to discuss our ideas. Aaron told me about the big changes happening in Bedford with the reversion, and the real potential for our project to be instrumental in helping that process engage the community. Bedford was going through a time of transition, and this seemed to be an opportune time to try something new. He had already been in contact with the local government, and so partnerships were already establishing themselves. At the time, I was really interested in finding a way to combine my background in architecture and design with community development projects in public spaces. I was researching urban interventions. Usually built by community members themselves, these small-scale built projects grew out of the needs within the community. Most of these projects were upcycled materials transformed from their original use into new urban objects that changed the way we experience a space. The connections we saw between our two ideas were the people and the space. We both wanted to create a process that allowed interaction with community members and really empowered the people to continue the process after the project finished. We decided to work together to create this process and began to investigate other projects that were already working similarly.
Bedford Connections consists of a 4-phase process: hear, ideate, create, and construct for developing a vibrant public space downtown. The process pays attention to the desires and experiences of the daily users of Bedford, its residents. Each of the phases incorporates opportunities for residents to participate and collaborate with others.
In the hear phase, we focused on listening to different needs, aspirations, and stories of Bedford residents. We interviewed anyone and everyone we came into contact with and held workshops with residents to get a better understanding of how they perceived their town. Leading up to the ideate phase, we selected a site in Centertown that community members had already identified as an important location in Bedford.
The ideate phase was an opportunity for community members to collaboratively design projects that responded to the stories we heard during the hear phase. In the create phase, we used the ideas of residents and design community interventions for transforming our site into an active public space.
The final phase, construct? Well, we'll get into that later.
So what do you want me to say first? Welcome to Bedford?
Tell them who you are.
Yeah.
I need many over here, right?
So what's your name?
My name is Ronnie Gross. I'm the 5th generation here in Bedford County growing peaches and apples in Apple Valley, which is north of the Bedford Farmers Market is where we're at now. Gross's Orchard, now we raise mainly peaches, apples, plums, nectarines, and produce.
What are y'all's names and your connection to Bedford?
Mine's Helen Walters. I have lived in Bedford for 18 years. I am originally from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and I love Bedford. It's a cute little town and a great place to raise children, and I raised one here, and it's a great place to meet great people.
And I'm Kathy Gary. I've been in Bedford since the 6th grade, which was 1969. That sort of tells you how old I am. And I've owned 2 businesses here. It's a great place to raise kids. I stayed here, and after I graduated from high school, I moved away for a while and got married and moved back. And it's a wonderful town. We have people come through here all the time and say, "How did you get here?" And I said, "We just drove through one day and thought, what a cool town. We want to live here." Okay. And then Helen and I met about 3 years ago. Started catering together, and now here we are.
I'm Glenda Overstreet.
Okay. And what do you love about Bedford?
I love the quietness. That's pretty much. I've been here all my life. I've never lived anywhere else, and it's really. I love the mountains and the quietness and people. It's really great place to live.
Hello, my name is Minnie. I live here in Bedford, and I come to the farmers market each Tuesday and Friday with a bake sale. Today I have coconut cake, brownies, lemon cake individually served for $1.50. I do have a couple of whole cakes, but they're in the cooler on ice so that they don't get messy during the course of the day. And with me today is my friend.
I've seen her many times here, so we can talk together. My name's Dorothy Hubbs. And right now there's a day of prayer planned right here with community, with a community unity day of prayer for the whole county to bring the churches together into oneness.
Okay, my name is Pastor Johnson. Everybody call me Pat. I'm the owner and operator of Pat's Barbershop here in Bedford. Used to be the city of Bedford. We done switched now to the town of Bedford. And what I do, I cut hair. I'm specialized in men's haircuts.
I'm Bart Warner. I'm the assistant town manager, and I also serve concurrently as a planning director. Came to Bedford in 2000 from North Carolina. I served previously as the planning director for the town of Davidson. Love the view of the peaks. I was born and raised in the mountains, so I take some comfort in living within eyeball distance of them. I like having Smith Mountain Lake close. I like having the opportunities of Roanoke and Lynchburg close, but I don't really care to live in either Roanoke or Lynchburg. So to me, I think Bedford's got a unique combination of small town life with a good proximity to the urban features you'd see in a larger place.
I'll be there. Realness, aka whatever you want to call it. All right. That's your boy Reg. I don't even know if I'm tired, but you're gonna recut that anyway. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know what's going on.
Just let's make believe you're not even in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Talk to Aaron.
Yeah.
Just talk to Aaron.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
So your name is that?
My name is Rosemary Paulus,
Okay.
and I'm on the board of directors of Bedford Christian Ministries,
Okay.
and I work as a volunteer in the financial aid department.
Mhm. And go ahead.
No, you're up.
Okay.
My name is Hazel Thomas, Washington Street Baptist Church.
Okay. And what do you love about Bedford and the community?
I love it that, number one, it's a small town, and we're close. Everybody know everybody. And I think it's a safe town according to crime and everything. I think it's safe here in Bedford. A lot of crime that goes on here, big crime, come from out of state somewhere. It's not as much here. I love the schools. I think the schools being public schools, I love them. I think the children are well taught there in the schools around here too, contrary to what people think. It's a small town school.
My name is Ramsey Rogers, and I'm from Lynchburg.
Okay. And what do you love about Bedford and this place that we're in right now?
Just a small community. I mean, everybody kind of right now, even with the market, everybody's working together and trying, and also the market's still new again, and trying to get people down here and know about it. That's the biggest thing. You know, Taste of Tuesdays, a lot of people don't really know about it, and just trying to let people know what's going on and who has what. So that's the biggest thing. You know, everybody works together, I believe. I mean, and that's why I come down here. I mean, you know, I'm up in Lynchburg down here. I mean, it's a totally different environment. So.
Jamal Bleasdale, been in Bedford now almost a year. I've lived in Lynchburg for the last 10 years.
And what brought you to Bedford?
My fiance, her parents gave us their old house. They bought a new house and gave us their house. So not having to pay rent in Lynchburg made me move to Bedford.
Yeah. And what do you love about Bedford and the community here?
I have 4 boys, so it's a good place for kids to go to school. It's quiet. I like it being quiet. Being originally from New York where it's busy all the time, I like quiet.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to like it. I'm ready to get into hunting and everything out here.
Hi, I'm Catherine.
I'm Chastity.
I'm Cammie. I'm Jennifer. I'm Elena. I'm Lynn. I'm Kathy.
I'm Alex.
And we welcome you to Choppies!
Very good.
I'm Mary Bain. I am a native of Bedford, and I've been here at the Shepherd's Table, I don't even know how long, but a number of years. And we take turns with the churches and serving the meals 3 times a week. It's a fun thing to do.
My name is Derek Dinwiddie. I am 19 years old and I'm on the left side of the camera.
Patrick, what do you love about Bedford?
Being near the mountains, and you know, this the scenery is different because I stayed in a different county. When I came up here, you know, I got a better opportunity, you know, and I like the war grounds and the apple farms and all that. You know, it's different, so you know, people should try.
It's a small town. It's really nice. Most people know each other around here. My dad was a doctor, the local doctor, and so he knows everyone. And everyone knows us. So it's pretty nice.
The town itself, due to the history of this town, has a spirit of its own. And it welcomes everybody here. And that's the whole thing. The town, it welcomes new people here all the time.
Oh, Valerie.
Valerie? Okay, Valerie Bennett.
I'm Zach. Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Yeah. So, Melanie, what do you love about Bedford?
That's a hard question because it's actually really kind of quiet. So.
I'm really happy with the decision I made on moving to this area because, like I said, you can either go live in the city, you're right between two. You know, if you don't find it here, you're right there next to Lynchburg. If you want to go bowling, movie theaters, or anything like that, you got Roanoke right there too. So you got two different malls to choose from, three actually, but it's all on what you make it.
Well, in our travel around, we've met people, and we told them to come here because of the big store.
And the biggest thing was
Make it slip down the lake. I said, big store.
People are just for the most part, really nice people and really appreciative of what you do, or appreciative of what you do and they do, and they're very open people. So, and I like the look of it. I like the fact that, you know, with me being as old as I am at one time, I would have wanted and did everything super modern. But today it's nice to be living in an old house, like 100-year-old house, and you know it, and with tall ceilings, and you know, I just really like that.
How would you describe Bedford kind of starting off?
World's best little town.
Yeah.
Which is a phrase that came up for it back in the 50s, I think, through the radio station, which was called WBLT back then. World's best little town. So it's a classic small town that happens to be very conveniently located from a business standpoint. It happens to be very, very well laid out, I think, in many ways.
Bedford is a nice, quiet city. My brother and sister, they're older than I am. They used to come down here and spend the summer. I never did. I didn't like the outhouse and all that stuff. I was used to indoor plumbing. So when the car left to go back to D.C., I was in the car.
But I mean, it's fits for the older people. You know, if you're retired or something like that, but as far as activities, stuff like that.
It'll make you old. This kind of make you old.
Yeah.
Hometown. I know just about everybody around here. Even a lot of the younger.
Thank you. I'm here on Tuesdays and Fridays. Come see me again. Okay.
Somebody asked me one day, says, what keeps y'all so young? We told them, we know a lot of young people.
As far as Bedford, it's a wonderful little town. Back in the day, it used to have red brick pavement. Now we have pavement. And now a lot of the older stores like Cannery, Creamery Factory, all of those are gone now. We used to have movie theater here in town. That's gone.
Where was the movie theater?
It was on North Bridge Street. Upstairs. It's just before you cross the bridge. Things have to change with time. But one thing about Bedford, no matter where you come from, we are friendly. We will talk. I know a large city, a lot of people do not talk to you, you know, when you're strangers. But for us here in Bedford, no one is a stranger. Just get to talking to people. You get to talking to people, you feel like you've been here all your life, you know. And just feel like family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, small city, town. Ain't really nothing going on around here, man. It's just a bunch of, I want to say depression, man. Like, especially for a young kid growing up, there ain't really much for them to do besides get in trouble, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I don't know. What I want to see Bedford do is get more places for the kids, you know what I mean? Because right now it's just a big retirement home. Virginia is for lovers. You know what I'm saying? There ain't too many lovers out here, though. If you're gonna raise your kids, this is a good place to raise your kids. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, though, when they get to that age, they need more things to do. Yeah.
15,
Most likely,
16,
they're gonna
17,
start
18.
following the wrong crowd, or they're gonna start doing a whole lot of rough things. You know what I mean? Because there ain't nothing else to do.
But it's a small, friendly community. It has grown. We've lived here now for 33 years, but it has grown over those 33 years. But not where we happen to live. You know, we live on a little private road that's got about half a dozen homes. You know, and then we're not going to get any more homes there. So, but it's everybody knows everybody. You know, they have good activities at the library and people get to meet there. The D-Day Memorial is here, and they have a singer coming in doing a concert tomorrow night. So everybody's going to be out, well, at least all the old folk are going to be out there, because the guy sings like Frank Sinatra, so.
That's at the D-Day Memorial?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
All right.
Bring your own chair.
It's not much to do in Bedford, so, you know, most of the time they're with family and relaxing and stuff like that. It's a good family place.
Very cool.
It's just a real caring community. People care a lot about each other. They do. It's a wonderful place.
Yeah. So, as far as Bedford itself, there's a lot of hospitality here, a lot of welcome here, and a lot of nice people here. The ones who are not nice, as far as businesses, don't make it. So, overall, if somebody wants to come to the town, you can just about find anything here. The hometown spirit's still here. And people actually reach out to whatever you need, see if they can help you with it. So that's what I like about it. It's just a small hometown spirit.
Quiet, cool, and no trouble. Trouble-free neighborhood, so you know you can't rumble too much if you're around good people. So you basically surrounded by good people. So
it's Mitchell and I lived 20 years in D.C. in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood, which is kind of north of DuPont Circle, and we loved the diversity. So when you come downtown, you would not think there are people of color in this town. They're not to be seen. Unless you go to, because there's a couple of churches on Sunday, and of course Vista Food, our little grocery store. Have you been in there yet? Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of, it takes you back 20 years in time to go in the grocery store.
Well, we say Vista's like is really like the cross section of the town, because there's all sorts of, there's such a mix of people there.
So, but with that said, we have found, as a gay couple moving back to a small town, that this is an amazingly open and accepting community. You know, there doesn't seem to be, there's this visual divide racially, but there doesn't seem to be any kind of underlying, deep-seated, desire to segregate or whatever. It's kind of, they just don't know what to do next.
Bedford's a charming small town with some southern flavor to it. It's a friendly place. It has evolved over a long period of years. I would say it's a nice place to be, a good place to live.
There's some dialogue from a movie I saw once upon a time, a couple of old people sitting talking to each other. And, one says to the other, "Are we good people?" And the wife says, "No, we're far more interested in that." That's better.
Yeah.
If you think of downtown as a small shopping center without a roof, that's very much what it is. You've got individual merchants and individual buildings. We also have a large segment of professionals downtown. Because the court is here. We have a lot of court services and lawyers, the county offices as well as those of the town, and all the support that goes with that. So that brings people into town on a regular daily basis for their business, and they're going to have lunch in town and maybe pick up some items here and there. But it's no longer the place it used to be back in the 40s and 50s when everybody came downtown to shop, do all their shopping. That has changed.
Downtown, they cater. They don't really cater to the young. Cotton Eye Joe. They don't really, if it's something, it ain't for us. Yeah. You know, it ain't gonna be nothing that's gonna really be for the blacks or the young. Yeah. You know, it kind of got like the old bluegrass bands or country bands or something like. But I mean, we ain't going none of that.
They have a few new bars and things like that, which have been really fun. And I pick up and play Invaders. It's just across the street over there. It's pretty fun. So I spend a lot of time doing things like that. There's still a lot of like attorneys and like things like that that aren't really anything, or optometrists, buildings and things like that. There's a lot of things like that and not so much things to do. But it's a nice town.
There's a perception that there's nothing to do here. There's nowhere to shop, nowhere to eat. We have wonderful restaurants there's lots of new restaurants in downtown and in the town. And I think that people just need to get out. We have a growing arts community with lots of live music performances, wonderful entertainers that come weekly, monthly. You just have to look. I mean, I see it when people come in here, when we get open, they'll bring flyers in. You know, we're doing this weekend, this weekend. You know, there's blues fest and just tons of stuff to do. And then everybody says, there's nothing to do here. Well, you gotta leave the house first. There's nothing to do in your living room. You need to get out, go left or right, and look and see.
What you've got downtown is real authenticity. You've got real buildings. You've got real locally owned businesses. You've got, you know, real heart and soul.
I wanted this place to be a little bit different than what you see in Bedford, like even the painting on the walls and stuff. You can tell it's a little different. I like to welcome anybody. I don't care who you are, what you believe in. I just want you to come in and relax, you know, feel welcome. So.
A lot of places, you know, a lot of different places you can go to in the area, especially up here on Main Street. There's a lot of, you know, the country stores really, you know, and there's new catering places, you know. You got some corporate, you got Domino's, but there's a lot of mom and pop places that people, if you walk in, you know, there's a lot of places you can go to and get different things.
We have Centerfest in the Centertown, and it's a great place where you have all the vendors come and they sell their food, and we have car shows here in town, and beautiful cars, and it's just a lot going on right here in town at different times.
In the Centertown, you ain't gonna get none up there.
Yeah, because it's like right there where the train tracks are, you know? So this is like our side, their side, but it's kind of mixed now.
What the sign that still says D Reynolds with the fake stone on the front was actually two separate retail shops, and one of those was his, and it was his pharmacy, and it was the only place in town where blacks and whites could sit down together and have a Coke or
in the 20s.
Yeah, in the 30s.
Either way, that's still early.
And this is Dr. And this was Bedford, Dr. Pogue, Pogue. Yeah.
Centertown is just a really pleasant place in general. Most days when I walk to work, I just like, the fact that you encounter an interesting mix of people you know, you go to church with, they're friends, and the occasional stranger, although that's actually picking up. Lately I've noticed a lot more people I don't know, and that's pretty exciting, for somebody who lives and works here.
And last question, from growing up here and spending time here now, what is your favorite space in the Centertown?
What is
past or present?
My favorite space in Centertown. Now I gotta be truthful, because it's not often that I go up through Centertown. The favorite place that you're gonna see me in Centertown is right here, Washington Street Baptist Church. That's basically where I will be. But go to Edmund Street Park over there. I go to the hospital. I'm at Walmart. I'm at Vista. I'm everywhere. But my favorite place, that's what you asked, is right here.
There needs to be some focus, and maybe your project could be a catalyst for that. There just needs to be a time where you step away from doing all the work you're doing and get people together and do social things and have conversations about what people want. Because Main Street's good about coming up with ideas, but it's usually just a few people that come up with them, and then they don't get the buy-in because the community didn't understand it, didn't have input into it, and that kind of thing. So I think it's an amazing community, but it often lacks imagination.
And looking forward, what could be instrumental in helping boost community health here, or is there anything that you imagine really bringing about that change? Or?
A combination of things. We, as you know, are part of the Main Street program, and it is a four-pronged approach. And I think you can't change and upgrade a community like ours without looking at all four of those aspects. The first one is organization, and that's just having a structure, having people know what to do and how to do it, and where the committees are, what can I do to get involved. But the three that actually implement improvement and change are design, promotion, and economic restructuring. And each of those has an important role.
I think I have a better chance of making it in a bigger city or anywhere, like just going around meeting people. Bedford though, like if Bedford wanted to come up, I think Bedford should maybe upgrade some of that. You know what I mean? Get more jobs. Yeah, like bring more people. So, that's why I believe they changed it back to a town. It used to be the city of Bedford. It's back to a town now. You know? It's really just like all of the same stuff, same people. Ain't nobody really taking the proper steps to go anywhere, but everybody wants to go somewhere. You know what I mean? We all gotta meet a certain mutual ground. If you don't see eye to eye, or you know, or one thing, that's just gonna cause confusion.
How's coconut? Do you like it? It would be great for Bedford to get some actually clothing stores, things like that, because we have a lot of antiques, a lot of banks. I mean, a lot of things like that, but Bedford really needs some places that you don't have to go to Lynchburg to find shoes. Things like that. Grocery stores are great. I mean, we have lots of grocery stores, but there's really no little quaint places to go and buy personalized things. That would be a great thing. The parking would be wonderful too. Limited. It's a small town.
Is to get some jobs in here. And once you get employment and people's financial situation gets better, the other things will come, improved school systems, improved infrastructure, all that comes, but you gotta have money first.
I'm actually in the works of, I'm a DJ too. Okay. And I'm in the works of, I don't know if y'all ever heard of like Friday Chill. Here or? When they got that down in Roanoke, Lynchburg. Okay. But it's basically, it's like a Friday thing. Yeah. And they have just different bands and different, just all kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's what we don't get. Okay. So I'm kind of in the process of making that happen for next year. Yeah. Because I feel, for me being a DJ, I feel it's kind of my priority. To step in and do something.
It need to upgrade a little bit more, I think. Like maybe a couple more bars, or maybe a little club scene or something. Make it exciting, make it look like it's supposed to look.
There's not really anything outdoorsy to do downtown. Like there's no park or anything like that. Something like that might be nice.
Love for us to get more things for the children here in Bedford too, in the city of Bedford, to keep them busy, and have them to work their minds, and other things besides school.
Well, I'm excited about the fact that you guys are on the ground and going up and talking to people, and I'm hearing some buzz about that, and that's great. The fact that that's getting people stirred up again, and I anticipate that we're going to get some suggestions, that we're going to get some complaints. that's excellent. That's the communications lifeblood that we have to live on. So I'd love to see more attendance at our council meetings. I won't harp on that too much, but it's very rare that we have any visitors at all. And I would like to see people get more involved in the town government. And I do recognize that might be our fault largely, that we need to do a much better job of communicating. I'm open to suggestions on that from anybody that wants to offer them. Honestly, if people will come to our council meetings, if they'll speak to council members, our council members are very responsible. And I've never witnessed a situation where somebody came and asked them for something and didn't receive an answer, and most of the time receive a favorable response as to what they want. So if there are programmatic things that we could offer as a town government, certainly. Talk to staff, talk to council. It's most important to talk to council though, because they're the ones who make the decisions. If there are things like certain services or activities that people want to see, I'd encourage them to come in and talk about that.
If you could see anything else, like being in Bedford, you say there's not too much to do, what else would you want here for like you or for your kids growing up?
Like a community center where, where the kids can go and play and older guys can go in and relax and be mentor to kids and stuff like that. That'd probably be a good thing here.
Yeah. Cool.
Or another shopping center, because Walmart is the mall, I guess.
Yeah, that's what we've been hearing.
Yeah, so another shopping center, but other than that, I like it. I think it's cool.
The town either stays small and dies, or it keeps the same spirit and grows. Bedford here in the next few years probably be booming.
Cool. Is that good enough?
Yeah. After reflecting on our time in Bedford and everything we heard from residents, we began looking for options for the project site. We looked over all the information we collected during the Here phase and watched all the footage from our interviews and workshops in order to decide what space in Centertown was best fit for immediate transformation. We wanted a site that could host multiple activities and had potential for connecting several community assets in Centertown. We gave particular attention to sites that were less developed and could be transformed into attractive, usable space by small-scale interventions. Since our project focuses on the community's capacity to create change, we did not consider sites in Centertown that would need large infrastructural improvements or redevelopment.
The site we chose for the project is the county-owned parcel west of Vista Foods. While reflecting on our experience in Bedford, this site emerged as a potential hub of activity, linking different sections of Centertown. Being already owned by Bedford County, the site also has the potential of serving the public and meeting goals of the larger Bedford community. The top of the site has the best view of the Peaks of Otter in all of Centertown. Currently, the site is a 2-acre gap in Centertown dividing an otherwise busy street. Any improvements to the area would increase downtown's public space and bridge the divide between the activity and communities on either side of Washington Street.
The site's western boundary is Bridge Street, Centertown's north-south thoroughfare, and its eastern boundary is Vista Foods grocery store and parking lot. Surrounded by several of the most populated spaces in Centertown, the site sits at the edge of what most consider to be Centertown's main street community. Vista Food, in many ways, functions as a community cross-section, attracting locals from all around town. Many of Vista Foods' customers who walk to the store enter through the parking lot from the residential neighborhood on the south side of the site.
Washington Street Baptist Church, which is directly east of Vista Food, is another place drawing people to the general area. The church dates back to 1866 and has been located on the corner of Washington and South Street since 1876, when its trustees bought the parcel for $1. In addition to its weekend services, the church hosts kids' after-school activities and serves as a meeting place for the local NAACP branch and other organizations.
West side of Bridge Street, people often congregate for activities and services at the Bedford Christian Ministries building, as well as the farmers market on Friday afternoons. People gather under the shade at the farmers market stand. However, there are no seats or tables for those who want to meet with others or grab some lunch.
Two adjacent buildings, the Christmas Station and Archery Building, face Washington Street from the northwest corner of the site. Both of these buildings are uninhabitable and past the point of renovation. Since the Bedford County's Economic Development Authority acquired the buildings in 2001, it has spent nearly $70,000 on repairs. However, due to recurring flood damage on the back of the buildings and significant structural issues, the County Department of Public Works has determined that the poor condition of the buildings outweigh the continuous cost of renovation. While the EDA would like to see the buildings gone, it is likely that the buildings will remain standing and vacant for some time due to the high capital costs needed for demolition.
Apart from the two vacant buildings, the rest of the site is a large paved parking lot that is almost always empty. Its main use is spillover parking for county and school board employees. With the site being so close to Centertown and community assets, we felt the site was underutilized and had great potential for becoming a vibrant public space.
We held two design charrettes, fast-paced collaborative sessions, for residents to generate a series of design prototypes and layouts for the site. We encouraged participants to consider both short-term improvements and potential long-term development of the site, centered around the needs and stories of the community. For our first charrette, we worked with Danny Thomas's building construction class at Bedford Science and Technology Center. The students, who have experience with woodworking and construction machinery, were working to finish a modular home for Habitat for Humanity. With their knowledge of construction and personal ties to the site and the Bedford community, the students designed community interventions that could immediately address certain needs of Centertown and be built using tools and material from their shop. The students were excited about the possibility of constructing any one of their design ideas on the site as a class project that would serve the community and memorialize their story.
The second charrette, held at the Bauer Center for the Arts, was open to the general public and advertised through WDBJ-7 and the Bedford Bulletin. A number of residents with a diversity of experiences and expertise participated in the charrette, collaborating in small groups to design a vision for the site. The group shared a strong interest in Bedford's future development and a desire to see the town grow in its social and economic opportunities. Their passion and enthusiasm for envisioning Bedford's future were evident in both the group work and conversations held.
While there were many different designs and site layouts created in the two charrettes, there were a number of concepts that were shared amongst the groups. A number of people envisioned a park space at the top of the hill, taking advantage of the site's tremendous view of the peaks of Otter. A pathway running down through the site and connecting Franklin Street with Washington Street was another prevalent design. Participants noted that residents frequently use the site as a passageway to Vista Food and other locations along Washington Street. Another common intervention was the use of building facades on the site for mural space or a movie screen. Knowing that the site's two vacant buildings were uninhabitable, participants proposed using the site to showcase important values or attributes of Bedford through art such as a tribute to the Bedford boys of World War II.
In the Create phase, we drew from the community members' ideas in the Ideate phase to design a series of community-centered interventions for the site. The interventions all stem from the designs generated by participants in the charrettes and reflect different experiences and stories we heard from residents throughout the Here phase. We were intentional about designing interventions that can be built by community members regardless of their technical experience and require minimal resources or financial investment. Collectively, these interventions have the potential to transform our site from a vacant, lifeless parking lot into an active public space connecting residents and different assets of Centertown. The interventions tie the site in with the rest of Centertown, increasing downtown's public space and bridging the divide between the activity and communities on either side of Washington Street. This grab bag will describe 3 distinct spaces we designed for the site and the interventions included in each. These spaces are a park, a pathway, and a platform for community exchange and activity.
Currently, Centertown lacks public space where people can gather, retreat, or recreate. In our charrettes, participants continuously express the desire for a park space on the site that would accommodate a number of different activities. Vista Park is a colorful and homely space, balancing several different activities represented in the interests of residents whom we interviewed. The space is located on the top of the site, nearest to Franklin Street, and looks out onto the cool blue peaks of Otter. Residents can withdraw from the bustle of everyday life to rest on the park furniture and enjoy the sights of Centertown and the mountains. Meanwhile, gardeners can tend to their plots in the urban garden, and children can run and play on the playground made out of recycled tires. Vista Park mixes the quaint features of a country hillside with those of an urban park, providing opportunities for residents to enjoy spending time in Centertown.
The site's success heavily depends on its connections to the surrounding Centertown and neighborhoods. We also wanted to create a path to function as a public route connecting the communities on either side of Washington Street. Therefore, we designed a comfortable pathway along a route where residents already walk. The pathway is created from a number of different materials, making it an interesting route to walk. It is also lined with storyboards that illustrate the different narratives representative of Bedford's community. Residents walking from the north and the south sides of the site can use the pathway to access the different spaces on the site, as well as Vista Foods grocery store.
Throughout our interviews and workshops, residents spoke of the need for time and space where community members could come together to share their stories, become better acquainted, and discuss the state of Bedford. The corner is an active space along the facades of the site's vacant buildings that is designed specifically for community exchange and expression. On the east side, residents can express their ideas and feelings and share plans and events on the interactive process wall. On the south side is a flexible space for residents to meet, show movies, and hold different events. The corner is a hub for various activities that all residents can use, reconstruct, and enjoy. There are a number of preliminary steps that must be taken before any of the interventions of this project can be constructed on the site. Any development on this site relies on the mutual cooperation of the Town of Bedford, Bedford County, and community members. While the site is owned by the county's Economic Development Authority, it is located within town boundaries and abides by the town's land development regulations and zoning. The town council must approve the use of a public park for the site. With this change in zoning, the county could then issue permits to community members or local organizations to construct different interventions on the site.
While zoning and permitting are necessary for development, the success of the interventions is dependent on the community's continuous engagement. We propose that a friends group of community members that are interested in the site be created to work with the county and town to steward and maintain this new public space. This group could be spawned with the help of Bedford's Main Street organization and work in partnership with the County Economic Development Authority, the site's proprietor. The site interventions are only possible through the relationships between Bedford County, town, and community members. We would like to thank community members whose stories, hospitality, participation, and support made this project such an enjoyable and fulfilling experience. We've had such a wonderful time spending time and working with the Bedford community, and our interest in Bedford has grown even deeper because of it. Our hope is for the chance to construct the interventions from this project alongside residents in the fall.